Welcome back to La Vida Baseball. Happy Friday. Welcome to being Guillén. I hope everyone's having a better Friday than I am. What's up, guys? How's it going, Oni?
Or just Guy. Yeah, my dad is still in South Florida. We are getting near the beginning of what seems like forever because obviously the pandemic and the off season. But just looking forward to the season starting, and I'm glad that we're here. And I think we're like 5-6 days away.
Are you going to opening day?
No, I will not. I used to go. I was talking to this about someone like 2 or 3 days ago. I used to go to opening day all the time for obvious reasons. My dad was involved with the team directly. I don't go to baseball games now unless I know someone on the opposing team. And I love baseball, but I was having like a little argument with myself. I was a little shocked that I don't go to more games than people would assume. This is crazy. I have never paid for a baseball ticket, like actually paid money out of my pocket to go to a baseball game. Obviously, I've gotten free tickets my whole life, or I know somebody. I've been very lucky. And I don't think that I would pay money, me personally, I don't think I would pay money to go to a game because I was spoiled going every day for 26, 27 years and having the access that I did. Andrew Jones is coming to town in August, and he's like, oh, we'll buy tickets. And I said, what do you mean we? I said, if you want to buy tickets for us, we'll go. I will not spend a dime. Maybe I can get a media credential to go with La Vida, but that's the only way I'm going to a game. I enjoy going to the bars around and watching the game on TV. I when it's nice weather, I would much rather do that than sit in the stands, watch. And I know that people are dying to go back, and I know fans love the game, and that's great. But I'm talking about me personally. I don't think I'm not going opening day.
I've paid twice for a ticket. Once I wrote it off from La Vida on spring training, and the other time I asked for tickets for charity, and the White Sox made me pay for it.
Yeah.
So I had to come out of pocket like $250. So technically the only time that I paid. But I think that for the fans, it's going to be fun to go back out to the game because
the biggest
I'm just saying though, they get to be back there. But like for everyone, everyone in the media that wants to go, we're going to be sitting in the booth.
Like you always have.
No, but we don't get to see the players.
Right, and you don't have access to it.
You don't have access to it. Everything's going to be done on Zoom. So it's funny. I can predict right now, and the people are going to get mad about this. I can predict right now what every show on every Major League Baseball channel is going to be. They're going to go out and talk about to the fans. What do you think about your team this season? I'm literally in the mode, and this is how we're going to get right now into the next topic of predicting what's going to come because baseball is so predictable. The media is so predictable. That's why I think I have a show, the Being Guillén fan has a show, because we do the opposite. So Eloy Jimenez, first topic of the day, probably one of the dumbest injuries in Major League Baseball history. Yeah, and when I talk about dumb,
let's not sugarcoat it.
I don't want to offend anybody.
We're on edge today here.
Well, I'm just saying the word dumb. No, I hope I'm not offending anybody.
No, I mean obviously, when you are in a sport, even in life, you have to realize and know your surroundings. What does that mean? You have to know game situation. What am I doing? Am I going balls out? Whatever it means. Everyone loves guys that play hard, and we saw Fernando Tatis going to home, slide head first. You cannot.
Also a dumb play.
Yes, very dumb. And you have to know, and now more than ever, even if they were making less money back then, it doesn't matter who you are. Eloy Jimenez going to try to rob a home run in spring training, it is by far one of the stupidest things I have ever seen. You're not a defensive guy. Know you're there. Know your value. You are there to produce runs. They don't really care. They don't give a damn what you do in the outfield. Kyle Schwarber's played outfield. Dave Kingman, Pete Incabilia, guys that were awful.
So I'm going to say this, okay? 60 to 65%.
Someone's watching us in Australia.
Australia, what's up, buddy? We love Australia. We'll talk about it in a little bit, what we got planned moving forward. But so here, give an advice to your kids in Australia. 65 to 75% of the players that play outfield right now in Major League Baseball are below average outfielders, okay? When I say below average, now with the shifts, other than the center field position, you're not known as an outfielder. So let me tell you how scouting goes. You're not born a right fielder or left fielder.
They put you there.
Okay, just like you're not born a first baseman or third baseman. You're either too fat, too slow, defensively inequipped, so you're moved there. So Eloy Jimenez's tool to get to baseball, to the big leagues, was not his defense. It was his bat. So if Javi Baez gets hurt trying to go to a ball in the hole, Tim Anderson, which is the guy that I kept talking about injury, because that's his job. Tim actually has multiple jobs because he's a really good player. But Eloy Jimenez's job is to hit, okay, and do that. So this is why I'm mad. Okay, you can tell why I'm mad.
It's very frustrating.
No, he left the game in the playoffs with a tweaked foot, meaning that's when you have to suck it up and say
and run through the wall.
You're in a playoff game. But this idiot, and I'm going to say this idiot, it's called eyewash, okay? Because everyone wants to play fake tough, and it's eyewash, okay? The open shirt, the sweat, it's all eyewash. It's all eyewash. And what I mean eyewash means you don't need to prove and jump over a ball who absolutely no one in the freaking history of Major League Baseball knew that you had a chance for it.
I honestly feel like
you've never been good defensively.
You've never even like.
If you do that move in the World Series, you can say my emotions are in a big game. You're in a spring training game, buddy. Okay, so now the White Sox, the situation that they're in, they're saying we're fine with this. They're not trying to replace this guy defensively. I can play right field for this guy defensively. They're trying to reproduce 30 and 100. You can put money ball, old school ball, freaking scientific ball. That's 100 RBIs and 30 home runs that you need to find somewhere.
This guy he could be the best hitter on the Sox.
He was going to be the third hitter.
Battling with
all due respect to Jose Abreu, the 30-day MVP, the 30-game MVP. This Eloy Jimenez going into this season was probably the guy that was going to break out, meaning 40 home runs, 100 RBIs. More than Pantera because he has the years in the big leagues.
And he has power.
And he's done it.
To all fields.
And this guy was going to be a key driver in the 100 RBIs. Because God forbid now, we have Abreu have a low year when he doesn't drive 100.
Right, now you're lacking. Now you can't produce.
Again, you're not producing. So when people are talking about replacing a player, I don't care if it's Scientology, baseball metrics, old school baseball scouting, replacing 100.
Someone is asking what was a dumber injury, Eloy Jimenez or Kendry Morales? I'm going to go with Eloy
Jimenez.
Because Kendry was in the season.
Kendry was in season, and Kendry was just like trying to celebrate.
Excited.
By the way, Eloy got
hurt when he celebrated the no-hitter.
Yes,
he tweaked his ankle. So,
correct.
This guy. That's the other thing. If you know you're prone to injury, in your mind, you play and you're like, hey. Anything hit behind me, this is what you do. 1-on-1. Anything hit behind me, you turn, ball hits a wall, you grab it, you throw it in. Manny Ramirez played left field for 1,000,000 years. You think Manny was going in the gap down the line? They hit the ball on the line, you run to the line.
Well, people by the way, people critique me about this, okay? Because I think that the world of overachieving is overrated for what you're getting paid for. I'm a person that I like to wake up in my marriage, my life, my work, everything. What's expected of me? Don't change it up because you're going to piss me off.
Or like The Rock says, know your role.
So in baseball, okay, in college, for me, I'm talking about really bad player Ozzie. If a manager got mad at me for not hitting a home run, I'm like, who did you bring to this team? I'm not a home run hitter. Know your role. So Eloy Jimenez trying to climb up the fence. I think that I have the list of the dumbest injuries ever, and Carlos Quinton being the other one for the White Sox when he hit the bat. That was a freak accident. It's still a dumb move. But this one is very upsetting because know your role, meaning when you're in the outfield, if it was a ball that's a blooper, we know if you're not going to get to it.
Just let it bounce.
Just let it bounce.
Throw it in.
And this is a Kyle Schwarber play. When Kyle Schwarber jumped against the wall in the ivy.
Exactly.
Buddy, I need you for the season. Again, this wasn't a ball. Like if he would have tweaked the ball, and last year he jumped into the fence and like laid there and everybody was like having fun with it. I was like, this is the dumbest play ever. Why are you that close to the fence? So right now,
you just don't have to.
My boy, I know he's your friend.
Debo? Yes.
Okay.
Yes. He's
I'm just saying,
coach.
I'm saying no. If he was on another team, this is with the White Sox. I would have come down and said, what are you doing? And I would ask this idiot, because I'd be like, because you're ruining my chances. Because they're not replacing a backup player.
No, and I know that they're going to try to get Vaughn, and now do you really want to put another guy that's never played left field in the left field? Something like that might happen again.
Well, by the way, you want to talk about affecting his offensive numbers?
No, you're like
a kid, unless you're Miguel Cabrera.
Yeah, but it's very scary.
Yeah.
They say, hey, go play left field. I've never played left field before. Yeah. They hit a ball to you, and it's very scary.
But I've been saying this. Why were they not preparing Vaughn to play the outfield for the past 4 years?
But they they didn't think about that. Now, I mean, their best choice would be, put Larry or Angle if he comes back from hamstring, and they're going to be fine. They're average.
By the way, the Adam Eaton sign now, genius.
Yeah, I mean,
Adam Eaton sign right now might be the best signing of the year. But now the White Sox, though, they're going to be affecting. So when we talk about injuries, though, and that's why it's upsetting, is it was a dumb injury. Dumb. And people out there are going to say, I'm going to predict this, though. Eloy's going to be in the top step, okay, during the season.
With his shirt open.
Clapping and doing it. And there's going to be about 5 reporters that are going to write an article.
They miss his leadership.
They have his leadership. They have his stamina and his attitude. And they cannot do this without his camaraderie on the thing. And we're going to talk about it on La Vida.
Meaning,
on the Monday show and the Wednesday show, we're going to have a thing on how
Eloy's the leader.
Eloy's the leader from the bench.
Listen,
you want to be a leader?
Hit 35, 40, and produce. And before we jump to the next topic, this guy, if you don't really think about it, he really let down his teammates.
By the way, baseball reference. How many guys drive in 100 runs and how many guys hit 30? Very short list. Not on that list, Fernando Tatis Jr. Not on that list, Joan Moncada.
Oh, and they're also saying about sign. They were the sign.
Oh, by the way, wait.
They're not signing.
Dude, I will not talk about those two individuals. They're not signing.
Yasiel Puig.
By the way, Yasiel
Puig can be right next to me doing this show.
By the way, Yasiel Puig in his prime did not hit 30 home runs in RBI. Not even in Cuba.
So I don't know.
Johnny Cespedes flirted with the situation. He couldn't even play left field when he could play left field.
He's always like these guys.
I would agree with this. If you had another option and you wanted to bring an Edwin Encarnacion as a DH,
well, now
you bring Edwin as a DH
have a spot, but now it does open up the door for. If I was Zach Collins, I'm like, hey,
but 30 and 100,
like I can get at bats.
Not 100 strikeouts.
Right,
again, but when they fill that out, I think that again the White Sox have a lot of DH options, and Tony La Russa's biggest challenge is going to be is how do you replace Eloy Jimenez at 100%, and
you don't.
And here's the thing.
And I don't like the fact that fans are like, we're going to be okay.
By the way,
no, you're not.
Robin Ventura, that year the Sox were supposed to be good. He gets hurt, breaks his foot on the field. Chris Snowpeck has to be the third baseman. White Sox chances tank. White Sox, Ozzie Guilléns at shortstop.
Probably the best defensive
player in the
thing.
League. He goes down. There goes the season. It's ruined. Not only with the one team.
Right here we have an article of I remember being in the stadium. These injuries suck, but when you lose someone this big, and they lost Ozzie in '92, and I remember it was in April. It was cold. We were in the stadium. It's very scary to see, and obviously we don't want to see anyone get hurt. But I always give my dad a hard time. Like, what were you? It was
a dumb play.
What were you doing going out to the outfield to get that ball? But he said, He goes, that's what I got paid for.
Yeah. And
Tim Raines wasn't a great left fielder. So, and you see videos of Ozzie going back and catching balls all the time. So I was like, he got hurt.
But Ozzie's Ozzie's defensive replacement, okay, was not the guy. They didn't have a backup that was
because you expect, because you don't plan for this. The Sox didn't plan, just like these Sox didn't plan in '92. The Sox don't plan like, don't worry, if Eloy goes down, we got another guy.
So here's the part. People are mentioning the Yankees. Okay. Have you guys looked at the Yankees roster of guys that drive in 100 runs and hit 30 home runs?
They have guys.
They have a couple guys that do that. They have done it. The White Sox have potential.
Right. They have.
Okay.
So the White Sox have one guy right now that I can pencil in for that. I would have penciled in two. With Eloy, I pencil in one.
I had one guy, Abreu.
That's it.
And again, Abreu's on that list of when is he going to fall off?
Right, and he's getting older. And these are the things that happens that I
always say. But Abreu's always finished. But has Abreu been to a playoff game in a 162 season?
No,
driving in 100.
No, and that's why.
That's why they needed two guys.
Right. I've always said this, guys. Baseball is very, very, very tough. You can't just slide someone in there and you're going to expect to do the job like the Sox did in '92. One injury like this, your season is done. Like,
but here's
this is a big cog.
By the way, but for White Sox fans out there, please don't hate me more. This is a lot more concerning, okay, than just the injury for the 6 months that he's out. And I'm going to explain why, okay? It's a muscle, okay? Allegedly, it's your pectoral muscle, okay?
That's his extension.
So he throws with this arm.
It would have been better if it would have been.
It would have been better if it was this arm because he didn't have an arm as it is. But he has to extend when he hits like this
and feel comfortable.
And feel comfortable.
That's why
that you don't tear it. Anytime there's an injury, and that's why I hate when guys say he got Tommy John, he'll be back even better. When you go into when you're gonna get the surgery, Eloy's signing the paper.
Meaning
you might die
if we mess up and you don't come out okay.
I'm gonna give you a list of guys that never came back great from injuries.
Derrick Rose.
No, that's but I'm saying though that it was injuries that you said it's not that bad when you looked at it.
Ozzie Guilléns.
Ozzie Guilléns. My father was never the same player, but I'm gonna give you one that's more like offensive key players on a team. Dustin Pedroia.
Wow. His career ended.
Hold on. Wright.
David Wright.
Who said, I am happy to be back on the field.
His back, he couldn't handle it.
Couldn't handle it.
These are all-star caliber players.
These are guys that in their prime.
Bo Jackson. Hip. Never was the same. Not even the same. Not even close to being what he once was. But I don't care who you are.
So
people now they're saying that technology, they do great jobs. I was like, you were never. I tore.
By the way,
I tore my.
Bobby James just got hurt less than 5 years ago, and they messed up his surgery so bad. The guy was almost in a wheelchair, and he had to give a lawsuit.
Guys, you never want to go under the knife. You never want to go through energy.
I would hire Herm Schneider. I would if I was Eloy
for his rehab.
I would go and get Herm Schneider. And I'm saying Herm Schneider because his track record of
we
guys.
We have a couple of questions. Says, will this be Schwarber all over where he comes back for the playoffs and produce? Positive thinking. Yeah, that's very positive thinking.
He's out by the way, and he's
going to be out a little bit more.
By the way, I just said this. They're saying so when you get this,
that's the
5
minimum.
to 6 months minimum. His injury was not to a point where he does not need it to hit. In October, he's going to recover that muscle
and be ready to
go.
That's even if they're in October. I mean, that is positive thinking.
By the way, Schwarber was a rookie. Like he wasn't injured. It was.
We obviously
again. That's positive. That's positive.
We're gonna wish Eloy a speedy recovery.
I'm just saying though that Eloy needs to take this serious because his career is on
the most important thing is the rehab.
By the way, his rehab. But I'm saying his career right now for him and making money.
And that's another thing I'm gonna get to. We cannot criticize guys, and I have before. Eloy Jimenez signed for $43 million before he ever played in the big leagues.
I'm glad that he signed.
I'm glad that he signed because he could come back from this and he could not be the same. And at least he got money. And
not every owner's Jerry. And when I say why, and people are like, why do you like Jerry?
They don't have to do that.
Ozzie Guilléns was on his way into surgery with Dr. Price. Okay. And Jerry Reinsdorf, and some people say, oh, he just took advantage of it. Okay. And I don't see it that way. They were giving Ozzie a 40% chance of returning to his capability.
I mean, his knee was shattered.
His knee was gone. And Jerry said, and the general manager at the time said, Jerry wants to sign you. He wants you to go into surgery knowing that your future, that is your future secured, that it might take you 6 months. And I think he used it as a motivation because then Ozzie felt
I'm protected.
But he felt I need to come back because I'm going to make this money. That also happened. I saw Jerry make the same offer to Magglio Ordonez. Maglio's on the bed in Cleveland. His knee's destroyed.
I got it.
They said the contract's still on the table, Magglio.
Basically, the
ownership, and Ozzie, and we said
the ownership is basically showing faith in you.
Well, I think that's a huge thing because it is. So I think that right now the only way that the White Sox, get to fix this problem and give the chance that they still had before
is if somebody else steps up.
Even if someone steps up, you throw those numbers off. So unless Vaughn is the guy that does that, you need to make a trade for a Charlie Brackman, a Trevor Story, Tim Anderson, grab your glove and go to left field. Okay, you need to play around with the guys that are available.
I don't think they'll do that.
They won't do that. They won't move. They won't move Tim because he earns that.
They will
stay the course.
They will stay in house.
They'll stay in house. But I'm saying though, like those are the guys, and maybe there's a move in September, like in July, that helps with that offense. But again, it's unfortunate because when I was penciling them in, Eloy Jimenez, in my opinion,
big cog,
was one of the guys that I said I'm not worried about him. He's going to hit 40 home runs and drive in 100 RBIs. Yeah, I literally had him penciled. White Sox winning 100 games or White Sox winning 30 games. I had Eloy penciled at 130.
Injuries suck. Do you remember any gruesome injuries that you've seen?
The worst ones that I've seen, like Moises Alou running to first base, basically destroying his foot on his ankle.
Jason Kendall.
Jason
I
Kendall.
remember his foot snapping. I remember the pitcher for Tampa. Was it Saunders?
His
his
arm coming
snapped
off.
off.
So there's different types of injuries. There's gruesome injuries, okay, that when you look at it, you're like, oh my God, that's horrible. But the weirdest injuries are like walking down the steps of the dugout.
Which does happen.
Slip.
Guys do slip.
Pull your hamstring.
With cleats.
That's a freak of nature thing. I've seen the one you're moving boxes in your house.
Yeah, and then a pitcher's
fingers. So when you're a baseball player,
I remember Josh Beckett used to have a lot of blisters.
So Ozzie Guilléns,
gripped the ball so much.
As a baby, I was a baby, and he was holding me before opening day, and one of those old school machines that you grab, pull down in the newspaper, and it shuts down.
Hand, right?
It caught his hand. I was falling. He caught me, thank God, but his hand got stuck, and he broke his fingers, and he had to play because he was coming from the White Sox injury.
Yeah, they put his fingers.
They put his fingers in things, so obviously it probably affected his hitting. But that was an injury that he wasn't planning on. That people make fun of the Quintana cleaning the foot. So like, if you're a baseball player, it happens.
You have to be very, very careful.
Trevor Bauer,
Aaron Boone, another dumb. He hurt himself playing basketball.
So things I'm not a fan of for guys to do in the offseason.
Hooping.
I don't like them playing basketball.
It's
while in season, because we're doing it for cardio.
Dangerous.
Very dangerous. Hooping, four-wheelers,
or driving any kind of motorcycle,
wave runner, snowmobile, any of that. For the love of the game, don't cut wood.
Yeah, for the love of the game.
For the love of the game, don't cut wood.
And the guys.
Well, the biggest, dumbest one is, and we just mentioned him. The reason that we don't want him on the White Sox. Johnny Cespedes,
the animal.
He's out there
getting bored.
Wild boars. Okay, but we've had it. Bumgarner got hurt, freak of nature. Quintana last season, cleaning fish.
Yeah, we're getting Moises Alou, yes. Willie McGee. Bobby Ojeda almost cut his finger off with the hedge clippers. Listen, if you are a professional baseball player and they are investing this much
bubble
money,
wrap,
you need to be very soft like Charmin in the offseason.
Well, so people are always concerned. Okay, they're like, oh, is he partying? Is he driving?
Let's hope he's just drunk.
I'm just saying though, like people are worried about like things like, oh, is he partying and driving? I'm more worried about, hey man, watch out when you're going down the stairs. Okay, don't change a light bulb in your house because thing moves.
Or don't be, you got a knife there. You're
and it happens for a lot of the guys who are like, I grew up a farmer. Farm when your season's done.
Yes,
and a lot of people
a lot of guys go hunting.
So a lot of Ozzie Guilléns, for example, the White Sox knew that he was a big wave runner guy. Ozzie was a big wave runner guy.
Didn't they put that in?
They had a clause in there that says, you get hurt on a dumb wave runner,
we're not paying you.
We're not paying you. Okay? And he knew that. And I think it was wave runner and
By the way, did he keep that deal? I'm pretty sure he still went on wave runners.
He did. He went on his speedboy. He just took a chance. But I'm saying, like, for Eloy, okay, I'm glad that he's getting paid. Guys like Cafe Martinez, who, by the way, I have no idea how he snapped this meniscus.
His other one.
Just
a different tweak, but
weird play.
It happens. If you're playing, if you're golfing, we're doing anything.
I thought that his injury, okay, and I critiqued him. I think Eloy's soft as Charmin. And when I say soft, I've seen guys, Paul Konerko play with a bruised bone for like 4 years.
That's another thing. Let's say something.
So I'm saying though, he's hurt. They're saying 6 months,
injured.
I'm saying like
he's injured. He's not hurt.
I just saw a picture of a guy working out, picture on Snapchat, and a video of what it looks like of what happened to him. It looks like a rubber band. It's just snapped. So it must have been very painful. Number one, but he came down so normal. And I said, oh, maybe he's just tweaked.
It didn't look that bad.
So there's injuries that look really bad, like the Robin Ventura break. But I love breaks because it's a bone.
It's easier.
Bone compared to muscle is easier. Like
that's why I think that like Jake Peavy right now, Adam Engel, hamstring injuries are the worst.
I think hamstring injuries are the most nagging.
They're so nagging. You come back and then you try to go at 100%, and it's always nagging.
A lot of pressure for AT. Yeah. When people talk about strength conditioning coach,
they mean a lot for a team.
And talk about trainers and talk about medical staff, Rush Hospital.
They have to get these guys.
They have to get this guy ready.
And how everyone's body heals differently. How hard are you hitting your rehab?
And I want to know
how comfortable are you? Because there's some guys like, I'm ready to go. I remember Ken Griffey Jr. broke his wrist, and he's like, I'm not going to the minors. I'm ready to go now.
The big leagues.
There's some guys that need more time to get ready for the season.
And for the whole thing, people are like, oh, he can't go back to the outfield. I don't agree.
That's ridiculous.
I think that he goes back there just needs to play smarter. And this goes for Pantera. This goes for Tim.
This is just, we're not talking about, obviously, Eloy injury. We're talking about injuries today because the season's coming
But he
up.
could have had that
The
injury
most
running.
important-
I wish this injury would have happened to Eloy. Sliding into a
second.
base
That happens.
or diving for a ball. I just hate the fact that he jumped on a fence.
He had no idea. He did
had
not
no-
have to do it. And then I feel like this should be a moment of awareness. There's other guys thinking like, hey, man.
So this is why in fantasy baseball.
If I look back, I'm not going against no wall.
Well, here's the thing, okay? Fantasy baseball. This is why you don't draft a month for the season.
Yeah, if you drafted Eloy,
they did. Eloy. When I looked at the stats, he went in the first 5 rounds for a lot of people, and the White Sox are counting on that. So right now, okay, when you're looking at odds, okay,
they went Fangraphs put the Sox now at 84 wins.
That's, by the way. So for you guys don't know that don't believe, because this is funny. Everyone believes in stats until it's used against you.
Right.
So wins above replacement. Okay, that's a sabermetrics
that's used to
measure a guy, how many games a guy
is worth.
I think the best guy might be like Trout at one point, had like 6 or 7 games.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. Eloy was at 3, which is very high. Okay, most guys that are average major leaguers might give you
1, maybe
0.45. So him at 3, he was in the top 4 guys with wins above replacement.
You need to be I guarantee
he did that without defense.
Yeah, well, being a horrible defense
and no running.
When Tony was making that lineup, he was giddy about having.
So when you make that lineup, by the way, when he makes that lineup, Tony did not get up and do a walk.
Now
thinking about things, and I want to talk about the Tony thing real quick.
Now he comes back and he's like, man, I'm not going to be without my second best hitter in the lineup, which I think the strategy now they're saying strategy changes. Come in, I don't have to face Abreu. I can go around him.
Pantera's development has to be a lot faster now. Moncada, I would literally have a conversation with my top guys. Don't pressure yourself, but we need to help. You need to help us get carried. So I got killed again on Twitter. Shocker. Because Rick Hahn came out and said, "Oh, we're not counting on Vaughn being in left field. That's why he's in the front office." Okay,
and then he played left field today,
and then
or he's playing right now.
And then Tony La Russa, the manager, wanted to play him in left field. If the front office does not want to see Vaughn play left field, because front office is thinking 2-3 years down the road. If I get this guy hurt, my job's not going to be here. Rick Hahn's thinking long term.
Tony's trying to win.
Tony's not 21. Tony's like, I'm like, I'm a flu away. I'm a COVID away from not being with this team. I want to win now. So he says the only way that you don't have Tony play someone, trade him, or bring him Charlie Blackmon.
Correct. And I honestly think that he's just trying to get, like, he is my best offensive weapon, and he's the
out of everyone in that bench.
He's his best,
including Larry's, including Engel, including everyone. The guy with the most potential upside is the kid.
So he's gonna give him a shot.
I love the LeCroy. I loved, and I don't want to keep talking about the White Sox, but I like the LeCroy catching, Grandal DH, play Leury or the kid in the left field, and I love the Abreu DHing, Vaughn at first base, putting Leury's or Engel in the outfield.
They will have options.
Abreu cannot say this year, I don't want to DH.
Yes, he has to take one for the team and say, hey, this is
just because the lineup gets better with him and with the kid in the lineup. Yeah, with the kid, why? The kid, by the way, the kid might hit 25 home runs.
Well, he might be, they say he's great.
I'm saying though, his power, he might hit 210. He might, if he plays every day, he'll hit 20 home runs in the big leagues.
I just think that,
that's a lot of pressure.
You're gonna throw this kid in the fire right away, and it's very hard.
He's on Miguel Cabrera. So
yeah, it's very hard to hit.
Does this change your perspective? Well, it doesn't really change it because you didn't have them winning the division anyways.
I think that it was going to be tough for them because I've said it all year, is that I think things need to go too well, like no one getting hurt, and now we have someone down. I still think there's second.
Every team right now in the Major League Baseball is one injury away from not being great.
Right.
DeGrom
goes down.
Syndergaard
goes down. Machado goes down. So the guy Paul Goldschmidt goes down.
Yeah.
And your season goes to the crapper.
Because you need one or two guys again to it doesn't have to go to the crapper, but it's not as confident as you're have to make up lineups. That's why I think the Yankees have been incredible, that they don't have really good pitching. They're always injured. But again, being injured and meaning I'm coming back in 2 weeks is a lot different than I'm gone for 6 months.
Exactly. Because, I took the hands from Judge, Stanton. Yeah, they get hurt.
But they still get a 200 at bats.
And they still hit 30.
Correct.
So they're not out for the season. So let's hope that these guys, that Eloy has a speedy recovery, transition, he comes back. I'm excited to see what they do with the lineups in opening day. I just know that we have a lot more to talk about. And I know you guys have heard because we've been promoting it all over the place. We have a show coming up March 31st, and we're doing it at Goose Island at 7 p.m. It is open to the public. It's going to be a great time. We're teaming up with them for the month of April. Guys, opening day is here. Baseball's here. That means the good weather. We have been having great weather in Chicago. I'm very excited to go back to Goose. I'm excited to have some beers after. Maybe I'll stay out the whole night.
So I gotta eat this. So Goose Island, I want to have some healthy food. Try to lose weight. I don't drink.
They have a great burger.
I can't drink, but they have a great burger there. This is why the fans should come out. Ozzie's gonna take Q&A. We're gonna take Q&A. Okay,
and it's gonna be raw.
It's gonna be raw. Like the show's gonna be great. The show's gonna be the first day before spring training.
Before opening day.
Before opening day, which basically whatever we would be talking about at home. And to be honest with you, I'm sorry for Eloy's injury, but it makes the talk way more interesting.
Yeah, it does.
Because, and someone said, where did you get this information? I said, well, I grew up and live 2 minutes, and he literally is in my house 24/7 with the only living manager that lives in Chicago with the World Series ring. So I know that fans don't take that for like
it's like a whatever.
I'm just saying though, it's like, it's funny because everyone pays like for all this like CEOs and like motivational talks. They pay for like a workout guru, but when it comes to baseball, they're like, Ozzie Guilléns, why would I take his opinion? He doesn't know anything.
He might know more than you.
But you're on YouTube. You're on YouTube to look for a video how to change a tire because someone knows how to do it better than you. So I think that show is going to be awesome. I'm excited to partner up with Goose Island, the 312 crew.
I guess a lot of people in our comment section saying they're going. They got questions lined up.
Lined up. Come out, eat. Say that you're coming in. I please call and say that you're coming for the show. So they can put you by the booth where we're filming.
The show area.
Again, for everybody that's out there and really concerned about it, COVID regulations are still going to apply. We won't be wearing a mask while we're doing the show, but we will be social distance. I think it's 3 feet now.
So we can get closer.
We can get closer. But yeah, so it's an exciting time, an exciting show. A lot of changes. For the people that are in Australia, it's crazy when we're looking at baseball. We're looking at planning already for winter ball. The potential of Ozzie returning to Australia, with the potential of Osley managing a team and Ozzie being his coach. So
yeah, I mean,
it's a lot of great news. We'll talk about that more in the Goose Island kickoff. But again, just so much happening in the Guillén family. And again, I wanted to bring something up on a betting side. So if you're a White Sox fan, are you sticking to your 90+ wins, or are you hedging your bet?
No, you need to hedge your bet and maybe take the under.
Take the under for 90 games.
And we're getting a little message from Cheers from Top Hat Bar and Grill. Restrictions are lifting, so we're going to run Guillén on LVP on the tube all day. Top Hat, thank you guys.
Top Hat. I got to go to Top Hat. I've heard that I'm not very well liked there.
Listen, injuries happen. I'm
going to disagree with that. Injuries happen.
Well,
this one is
dumb.
No, this one is a colossal.
Could have been avoided.
I'm saying that this is a colossal of an injury because of who got injured.
Of course, I believe he is monumental, and let's hope they don't happen anymore. Me personally, like I tweeted, I don't like seeing injuries because I don't like hearing excuses from fan bases.
By the way, this is a good excuse for the front office, though. Tony, it's like when you don't get your job done.
I'm gonna hang my head on that.
I'm
like,
my best player got hurt.
Yeah, exactly. And let's hope that that's not the case. The Sox still have talent.
If they do win it, though, I think it makes it that much more special.
Exactly. But is Eloy hoping they win?
He does. Oh, yes, he is.
Yeah. Well, listen, we're going to be at Goose Island.
They got to write that article about it.
I want to hear I want to hear everybody's take on the opening day. It's going to be exciting. We're going to pick our teams to go, and we will be giving you guys our bets and what we're taking. So I hope you guys, can join us. And we got a lot of people here that are coming. We're not.
By the way, don't say you're coming and then don't come.
We're not going to give junior softball questions like I did at Simone's. So they're going to give you hard questions.
By the way, what hard question can you ask me about baseball?
Well, the only hardest thing. Who said anything it's about baseball?
Well, hard questions. Are you faithful to your wife? Yes. I'm just saying though, like have you drank in the last 3 years? If I'm hiding about something,
right?
I mean, if how much money do you make? I have a choice of telling you.
What improper thoughts do you have in your mind?
Yeah, and I could say I'm not going to talk about that, but I'm saying what hard question are you gonna? By the way, people ask me about who my favorite guests that I would like to have. I like to have Rick Hahn.
Wow, that'd be great.
No, because Rick Hahn, he does this whole talk. And it'd be weird because we know each other. He wouldn't. But I'm saying it would be weird because we know each other. But they talk about the genius, and that's the genius that I want to know. Because when they ask me about Theo, I never been around Theo every day.
Well,
so there's still that galore about Theo. No, I'm saying there's still the goo guy about me with him because I don't know, and he obviously has the hardware. But like
he's got the hardware.
I'm saying that, but when you make comment, like I want to ask him, like, how do you prepare for an injury? So like, do you sit back when you're a general manager and say, if this player gets hurt, I do this?
Well, it's called depth.
I'm just saying, though.
It's called depth.
I'm just saying, when you're planning,
the good teams won't miss a beat. Meaning, somebody goes down. Hey, I know a guy that can do their job. The good organizations won't miss a beat. I have a question talking about like minor leagues, and everyone in the White Sox is always like, we got the best minor league system in the world. How come there's no outfielders to come up and play left? So, well.
I'm just saying that's a question that I have. By the way, for the people on the north side, keep living under the radar.
Yes.
Keep living. By the way, have you seen the pitching stats number in spring training?
They're doing well.
Oh, by the way, does Altuve get a hit before the season ends?
He hit a home run the other day. I'm
saying though, does he end up with 500?
And I'm very excited to see Shohei Ohtani. He's hit 5 home runs. He's been dealing. If this guy can put a season of like hit 35 and throw 200 innings, this guy is amazing.
So I'm rooting against Shohei Ohtani. Okay? Because he gets privilege because of where he's from.
I know.
If Shohei Ohtani was from Caracas, Venezuela, they would have said pick one. Again, I'm predicting injury on Shohei Ohtani.
It's hard.
The pitching part is the hard part. The hitting part, he'll be able to do it.
They might lead him off when he's pitching, which is really, it's like playing in the men's league. He's like, I'm the pitcher.
By the way, I will go on a limb if that's their plan that they don't make the playoffs.
No, they're not going to make the playoffs either way. But I'm picking Trout to be MVP.
Trout was my first pick in my fantasy.
Wow, you got him?
I got him. People picked Acuna, Tatis, and some guys before that. I said I'm going to go with what's short.
Ludicrous.
You're so anti-Latino. I said no, I am not. No, I just go with the best player.
You go with the sure thing. Mike Trout is the best player in MLB. Everybody else is right behind him. Anything else you want to add before we
No, just come check us out. March 31st, Goose Island.
Guys, you got to come and you got follow the page Guillén. It's always behind the scenes. La Vida Baseball. We're going to be very, very excited about next week. It's going to be a good show, and hopefully we have a good time right after the show. So,
and I got in a better mood once I was done with the show.
Yeah,
I just needed to get all that stress out.
So it's gonna be good. Hopefully you guys will be with us next week.
See you guys.